This is going to be another breakdown. I thought it'd be interesting to do one since there's a match coming up between Patrick Gaudio and Gordon Ryan. So I have not watched this one. This is from I believe 2018. So it's been a while, 5 years. I'm sure both these guys have evolved and changed quite a bit. But I still thought it would be interesting to watch the interactions between the two. Um, yeah, so it'll be good. Before we get started, make sure to check the link in the description where you can get access to all the strength and conditioning programs, submit your own footage, and join the Sweet Science of Fighting Underground. So that being said, I think this is IBJJF rules. To be honest, I have not kept up with IBJJF rules. I kind of gave up a while back. I don't know if you can do heel hooks. Well, I guess we'll find out. I'm assuming, especially around 2018, we should, if there's heel hooks are allowed, you should be seeing quite a bit of them. But I suspect there may not be, and that could drastically affect the game here. So we'll see what leg locks are allowed, and but yeah, let's start here. I'm gonna actually pause or mute this. There we go. All right, so a little bit of a push off there. Gordan just sits the guard. Try to do that double foot sweep. It's kind of taking both his hooks and flaring them out. Just trying to see if he can get a sweep to get him to Patrick to his butt. Gordan immediately went over inverted here. This position particularly, it's called different things. It used to be called the tornado guard, but this is definitely a leg lock entry to honey hole in different positions for leg entanglements. So he used it actually technically as a tornado guard. It may have been called something before that. I don't know, but that was kind of the first time I had saw it. I believe it was like Cyborg or somebody that had kind of coined the term, but he used it a lot back in the day. But certainly here, there's going to be leg lock entries. And it worked pretty well there. So that was a good pass attempt. Okay, so what Patrick's doing here is trying to keep both his hands to the inside position. Obviously, he doesn't want to do one arm out because you start to get the threats of triangles and all that. So and possible arm bars. So you need to be careful here. But he's putting both his hands trying to put both his hands to the inside, and of course Gordan is trying to pummel his legs to the inside here. And he's using that pendulum sweep again and lifting him off top of the ground. And now look, he's going to like an Ashigrami position. So there's a bit of a leg entanglement here to a standard Ashi. Patrick's doing a good job. He's getting his foot off the mat and getting it to the kind of on Gordan's stomach here, kind of freeing his knee line. So Gordan, doing, using both his grips to hold onto the foot to see if he can regain that knee line. It looks like that was a pretty crazy, fall to Gordan's leg there. It looks like Patrick was trying to do a counterattack. It appears thus far, I haven't seen any really heel hook attempts, but it certainly looks like he can do some ankle lock. So Gordan, it appears Gordan is now, yes. So I was going to say he's in a double outside Ashi, but he's not. He's in this like X position. I can't see the leg, so I'm not sure. Patrick's leg might be stuck on the outside of. Oh no, I see his foot. He's on the inside. So he's on the inside here, and you can see that this could potentially end up in a 50-50 position. If you know anything about 50-50 position, you can certainly start to gain access to the back here. Certainly, if you start to produce knee bars and things like that. I would say Patrick's angle is pretty good here, but Gordan's angle is also very good. He can start to turn to the side, get to his right side here. And we used to call it a 70-30 position. So, there's 50-50 position, there's 80-20, there's 90-10, and then there's also 70-30 position. I'm sure somebody else calls it something different, of course. But this is kind of looking into that 70-30, Gordan's heel is going to be facing over in this direction. So that would be entering into more of a knee bars and back exposure and all that. So, but yeah, we'll see where this goes. So Patrick just sits back to his butt. There's a bit of a threat of 50-50 position happening here, but it doesn't appear that either guy really wants to commit to that position. The interesting thing about 50-50 position is if somebody's really adamant about wanting to stay in 50-50, they technically can really just, really somewhat force the position, especially how close both those guys were to getting into that 50-50 entanglement. But they were both trying to just get a little bit of an edge, it seemed like, without actually entering into the full position. Grips. So one thing I always tell guys, especially when you're playing your guard, is it's actually very important, especially in the seated guard position, that you to gain some form of attachment. If you don't get some sort of attachment to your opponent, it's going to be very difficult, obviously, to do anything with your guard. So one of the most important things you need to do is get attachment, not just attachment with your hands here, but also ideally with your feet as well. In these type of positions now, you may see Gordan do this as well. When an opponent starts to pull back and you have a two-handed grip here, this is an easy wrestle up position. So Gordan, especially because of his foot position here, he can start to wrestle up pretty easily here. Gordan's trying to keep his elbows tucked in, tight to his body, so that so he's much stronger there. As soon as his elbow starts to get extended, then he starts to lose a little bit of strength there with the position. But elbows are still pretty tight to the body. See how his elbows drag back into his body here? This is a very strong way to keep attachment and pull the person back in. Not only pull the person back in, but you can also pull yourself into a guard. And that's exactly what happened here. And, Patrick came back forward, kind of helped out with that. Again, watch Gordan's leg here. We're running into like this honey hole position. Possibly he can invert here. And this is, if this leg starts to get, this foot starts to get up back here, and this, his leg basically starts to clear underneath Patrick's left leg here, he can start to invert. And even if he doesn't, he can still start to invert. This is how he's getting into those tornado guards and inverted honey hole entries. I like how he has the grip on the far leg over there. But see, now he's in honey hole position. Patrick stepped over the leg here to try to pass, but this is setting up an inversion, technically an inversion into honey hole. There's a bit of a grip fighting on Patrick's right arm. It looks like. But see how Gordan gets up on that shoulder, starting to ball up, and he's going to throw that leg. His leg's already behind, and he may figure four here. We'll see. But see how he's grabbing the far leg here. This is very critical. When you are entering into these positions, it is usually ideal that you get the outside leg, meaning the legs that is between your legs. That's the main leg you want to try to submit with a heel hook. The outside leg here, you can also produce submissions, but the main leg here is the leg that's between the legs is the main leg you want to submit, because that's where you can start to produce, really obviously bad heel hooks. But what I always tell guys is, especially when I'm rolling with advanced guys, I'll say, one of the things I look for is I'm not looking actually for the finish necessarily here, because somebody that's good is going to be already defending. I'm actually looking to get control of the second leg so that I can gain some time to actually finish. So you can do both. One's not right or wrong. I just think if you go for the second leg here, the outside leg, you can actually start to gain more control of the position, and it buys you a little time, and it also binds the person up more. They can't just start freeing their knee line and hide their heel and all that. Everything's much more difficult. They can't come forward as easy, so you have more control. Now look, he's in a full honey hole position. Again, if this was a heel, let's see if he goes to a heel hook. And, Patrick's staying up on the hand here. This is good. He's trying to use this left arm to frame down to free his knee line on Gordan's right leg here. But Gordan has control of that outside leg. So this is the outside leg, and he's gonna, if he pulls that in, he can actually control this position. Boom. So he rolled through. He has control of the outside leg. So it doesn't appear to me that heel hooks are allowed. I have not seen a heel hook attempt, because that was when he was belly down, that could have been a pretty bad, or however you look at it, bad or good heel hook attack or heel hook attempt. Because it didn't look like there was much defense. He had really good knee line. He was belly down. So, so he may be, okay, so now he's going to the outside leg. You can produce a lot of attacks on this outside leg here. A lot of people forget that they get so fixated on getting this foot here, the inside leg, the leg that's between Gordan's legs. We somewhat get fixated on this leg, and because we want to do a heel hook. And there's other submissions you can do as well in this leg, but the main submission you're going to see is a heel hook on this honey hole position. But a lot of people forget this outside foot here. There are a lot of submissions you can produce here. You don't see a lot of them at high level, like leg laces and ankle locks and reverse ankle locks and crowbars and toe holds and all this. You do see some toe holds. But with this outside position here, with this leg, you can certainly start to produce some threats. And as we know, guys at a higher level, and this is a high level, sometimes they won't even tap to this position. And I really like that Gordan falls to the right here. I'm a big fan in honey hole position to laying on my side to the right side when I really want to gain control. It just puts your right leg, Gordan's right knee, is really framed out. And your opponent can't really come forward. They're basically stuck kind of hand fighting. Whereas if he really wants to produce some sort of position to where he can actually get out, Patrick needs to get it. His head should be over here, facing to go into like a running, like a running man position, trying to run away and free the knee and hide the heel and all this stuff. So when he's on a side like this, he's kind of stuck a bit, just hand fighting. Now he's back up, and going to the left too. This is an excellent position for Gordan to start to separate the legs and isolate legs. We see this often where you can see the legs get separated, but again, heel hooks have to be available. But Gordan could go face down here, start to split the legs. His head would go between the legs, and then he could have an isolation on both sides. But belly down is very useful. And I keep pausing, but belly down, I just want you to see that this belly down you see how good this is because it completely takes the person that you're attacking kind of out of the game. They're just basically reaching. They can't hand fight. They can't come forward. They're just kind of stuck. Okay. And that's precisely because Gordan has control of the outside leg, and he does have a reaping position, the honey hole position. So he's just laying there. So I suspect that, if this heel hooks were here, he wouldn't just be laying here like this. But he knows that there's going to only be straight ankle locks. I mean, I'm assuming this is the case. Okay, so Gordan just lets the position go and use it as technically a sweep or a pass. I always tell guys you can always use your leg locks for a pass, right? You can use it for technically quote unquote a sweep. It's not, you could use it for a sweep, but basically now Gordan's up and Patrick's down, so he's on top. So he used the leg locks to get to top position. Goes into a knee ride position to slide through. And Patrick held onto the leg here. Looked like maybe going to a false free position, but this is going to be more of a wrestle up position. So he's wrestling up, got a single. Walking with the single, which is good. Don't want to stay stagnant So I always tell guys with the singles, you generally want to always keep moving forward, pulling, forward, circling. You don't typically want to just stand still, because then you start to see guys start to get a hold of your neck and start hooking their leg to the outside, and all this, these classic defenses start to happen. Can't really see what's going on because it is kind of cut off. He's walking here, he switches to the double and goes to blast double, which is great. So you got a single, you got a double, you got a double, you got a single. So you can always go back and forth between those two. Again, Gordan's hook here is the issue. Falls to the other side. Okay, so Gordan's going to an underhook on the forearm here. So Patrick needs to be very careful because Gordan could potentially throw this leg over. Start going to joy bar positions, positions or sweeps, especially if Gordan starts to use that left leg as a hook. That position went nowhere. So that's good. Patrick stands back up. Good sweep again. Again, this is a classic. I mean, this is pretty classic now. I see this all the time. It's just kind of a standard position when somebody stands up and they don't have staggered feet. You can throw your hooks in and then shoot your legs, open your legs wide to try to hook sweep the feet there and just kind of push them down. And they go off the mat here. Again, Gordan does it again. He shoots in and tries to flare his feet out to try to get a bit of an imbalance. It's something he's, always remember, it's not necessarily that you're trying to, with your guard and person standing, it's not that you're trying to sweep them all the time. A lot of times it's just about just imbalancing the person and getting them unstable, right? And so that you gain the initiative. So that, you're more reactionary. If the person's more reactionary and they're having to defend, obviously that's better for you. So again, see, Gordan's playing the same game here. He's taking the right hook is up here. His bottom leg's going to fall to the ground. And I think this is 5 years ago, so this is a very common position now that everybody's pretty familiar with. Even if Gordan took his right hand and started scooping the leg, you started getting some false reap positions. You didn't see a lot of false reap positions, I think, back at this age. They were around, but you didn't see them all the time at a higher level. But certainly this position is really great for people that keep driving forward, that want to try to drive through the guard. And that's how that's where this type of guard really shined, because you can just keep going into honey hole and tornado guard positions. Again, you see the same exact setup. Got the hook here, the leg step back. Patrick either putting his leg through intentionally, or Gordan's just getting up on that shoulder a little more so that his bottom leg gets behind Patrick's left leg. And you can see the fingers there. You see Gordan's fingers. He's grabbing that outside leg again. He's going to go up on the shoulder again if Patrick does the same thing. If Patrick keeps pressing forward, this is an easy invert. And now that he didn't press forward, he pulls away. Gordan loses the control of that outside leg, but he gains extension now. So if he can actually get control of this foot and bring it up, again, if heel hooks were available, which we'll see now, if he gets his foot and he doesn't do a heel hook, then I'll know for sure that there's no heel hooks. You can't do heel hooks in IBJJF. So here we are, same position. It's just that Gordan doesn't have the second leg, a bit less control. We'll see if this foot can get dragged up. And he chooses not to. And I don't know. I'm assuming it's probably because of the rule set, possibly. So now he's underhooking the leg. Okay. So if you notice, his grip is a little different here. You see the big toes right here? The big toe, it's there. The big toe feels a heel hook. The big toe would be in the armpit. So this is not, if there's no heel hooks allowed, this is definitely legal. So because he's doing an underhook on the leg here. Climbing the hips, he turns and rotates. Perfect honey hole position. We'll see if he grabs the outside leg. Yep. So he grabs the outside leg. So he has control. So there's no heel hooks in this. I mean, if there were heel hooks in this match, it would have been done, I think, or maybe not have been done. But I'm sure if there were heel hooks, we would see different reactions from Patrick. There would be much more, I would say, urgency in these particular positions, or he may not even have been in these positions because because the rule set would change. So. Which is going to be very interesting on the match coming up, because we'll see, and it's been 5 years, so we'll see if the heel hooks are there. So again, Gordan uses this as a sweep to get on top. Now he's in top honey hole position. He could slide back for an ankle, I suppose, a straight ankle lock, but this is a perfect passing position. You see how he let it go and just goes into a passing position? And Patrick did a good job here. He's controlling the posture. He's trying to hold the outside leg. He's trying to produce something. So I don't know if they gave him a sweep position. Get hit in the jaw. Bringing him center. Okay. Gordan's cutting that right. His right knee is cutting to the side there. So that was really good. Patrick lifted him with that De La Riva position. I just want to watch that one more time because I missed a bit of that. So this is a De La Riva position. So you can see the De La Riva is there. And, Patrick is able to overcommit and bring his knees to his chest and try to bring Gordan over his head. And doing so, he can start to go to his left as well and start to possibly produce a sweep. Boom. And then he chooses to go inverted with this De La Riva, which is great. Going into the inverted with the De La Riva can actually produce a back attack, but his butt's already to the ground, so he's not going to be able to get to the back. But he is able to secure an attack here on the outside leg. And or a pass. So he looks like he might be trying to go for a knee bar. He's not going to really be able to achieve this, because Gordan's, you can see his other leg was in between the legs. So you can see Patrick here switches hips, tries to pass, and look at that. Gordan's right back into that honey hole position, up on that shoulder. He's already going to be scooping the leg. I'd be surprised if he did not go to roll into a honey hole position again. He has the outside arm grabbing around the hip. Look, he's going to go upside down again and invert. This is more in a tornado guard, but a honey hole reset position. We drill these as just warm up drills now for resetting the honey hole position when somebody's on top like this smashing. So this is actually a drill now we do. That tornado guard, you see how he uses that pendulum, that left leg to pendulum, his legs forward. And again, this is like a tornado guard kind of thing, but really can be used for sweeping and getting into honey hole position. He's looking for a back attack possibly here. Patrick recognizes this and just pulls away, kind of as a flying man. There's a calf slicer position here that is now, I call this the funny hole because it is honey hole, but it's just it's lower on the knee. So now we've entered into a calf slicer position. Well, calf slicers are great. You rarely see a calf slicer finished at any high level event. Typically because they generally are just a kind of a painful thing. They can be defended fairly easily. There's a bit of a point of no return, obviously. But even then, most guys won't tap to this. So it's not really a breaking mechanic, even though I think you can break somebody's knee. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not sure, but it seems like putting that much pressure and exploding the knee forward, it seemed like that would not be good. But certainly would cause some sort of damage to the knee and the calf. So it's a painful position, but what I look at this position now more of is a bit of an attachment and control position. You can get a lot of control out of this calf slicer position because the leg is actually trapped. You see how Gordan scoops that leg. He can't go to heel hook here. He's going to pass it to the other side, so now he's looking for the back position. If Gordan can pull his right leg in here, his right knee to the inside, he can start to produce butterflies from behind, and this could start to get, there's the butterflies from behind going to a little Granby. Patrick's able to push, turn the corner. Pulls his shorts really, really high. Okay, so there seems to be a little bit of confusion of what to do from here because they do keep doing the same sort of positions, so they're counting each other pretty well. I mean, I would say at this point it is more, Gordan is certainly attacking a lot more, has more better attacks. Patrick is more just defending. This is. This is why I appreciate ADCC rules and things like this where you have to go forward. This is kind of pushing around down and walking away. This type of stuff would be penalized, from my understanding, in other settings. So I think this is a good rule set for that. Specifically ADCC and other events now actually hold is that you have to keep going forward. You can't just disengaged. Look at this. It's just completely disengaged. And that's fine, but I mean, it's very difficult. There was a match. It's very frustrating to watch matches sometimes and the person just doesn't want to engage and then nothing happens. But I understand this is like a high level. So again, you see Gordan did that little butterfly sweep again. There it is. See his foot right there? His foot sneaking behind. Gordan has right leg right there with the hook. So it's going to be the same type of thing here. If Patrick keeps putting his left knee in the center there, and if Gordan starts straightening that leg and get that knee behind there, he's going to end up in a honey hole position again. I'm sure Patrick understands this because this has happened to him like 5 times already. So you can see this Gordan controlling that outside leg. Now Gordan is actually technically in the honey hole position. Patrick's, doing good here. He's trying to counter here by giving a good cross face, put a downward pressure. And you see Gordan's hands here, right here. This is going to help him invert if he wants to invert, which he doesn't. Patrick just tries to jump past there. There wasn't much control to pass. Patrick's very, very explosive. Again, that staggering sweep that Gordan does with his legs, he opens his legs real quick around the between Patrick's legs, just to stagger him a little bit, and possibly can do all kinds of different things. Can wrestle up, can get into some sort of a leg entanglement or achieve a guard of some sort. So good. Again, top hook is the issue. Patrick seems a little perplexed. I would, encourage Patrick to try a different strategy here. There we go. That's better. Yeah, control the feet. That's good. So again, same thing. There was a reverse X position. You saw the reverse X position just for a second. If Gordan would actually put his right leg here behind here, he'd be in the calf slicer position again with this particular angle. Goes back to the butterfly, keeps lifting that leg. Good. Controlling that top arm, bringing it down. This is a good example of why reverse X was so successful. Reverse X was developed, during at a higher level during these years, to where it just became, part of a permanent part of the leg lock game because it was such a good tool to use against this type of guard passing, just kind of consistent pressure passing. If you don't understand the position and you don't deal with reverse X, it can be you're just going to keep getting reset over and over and over. If you can't do heel hooks. So he goes for the crossface, but again, he's going for the crossface and trying to get upper body connection when he doesn't have actually control of Gordan's hips. So Gordan goes into Ashigarami position, and Patrick steps over. He's trying to pull his leg out. And Gordan's doing a good job of holding the leg here. He actually is retracting his heels, pinching his knees, getting crunched in here, and really trying to get a bite on this leg. And Patrick's doing a good job here. He's staying on kind of a heavy leg here. He tried to pull away, but Gordan was stuck to him, so he's trying to keep that left leg kind of heavy to the mat. Got a good wide base. So this is good. He's got his foot on the leg here. Probably what would serve him a little bit better is to take his right hand and put it on the Gordan's other shoelaces here on his left leg, and then this grip be going more on the big toe to really pry Gordan's legs apart, and then be able to control the feet. So he's doing a good job pressuring in. He's freed the outside leg, which is great. Does a big back step here to try to step over to like a north-south position. But you see his arm placement here. You see Gordan's knee, his hands here. This is going to cause a reset. And so the arm and the leg were on the inside position. And when you just try to do a big back step there and you try to pass, it's just a reset back to your guard. There has to be much more control of the pass when you're actually doing this type of guard passing. Obviously it's Gordan Ryan too, so he's obviously really good. So you're going to have a little more control of the position and in the transitions. The transitions are very important here, and you can't just explode past because Gordan just has a very, very high level of understanding of position and timing. To go 3 minutes, they're going to reset to the center. So good snap down. Gordan decides to be a little more aggressive here and go to more of a wrestling. Sits back into his guard, but look at the leg position here. Same leg position. Top hook. I'm going to keep repeating this the whole time through the whole match. So this will be a good study on reverse X position, tornado guard / and entering into honey hole, into leg entanglement with not being able to do heel hooks. That's great. So you'll be able to use it to actually pass and to sweep. So you can see the leg here. And good, Patrick did good there. He didn't just keep driving forward. If he would have drove forward, Gordan would have went underneath him again, and we got to honey hole position again. But you see that Patrick's hips drop back. Disengaging, going backwards. So there's those hooks again that Gordan uses just to try to get him off balance. Posture. Pulling his pants really high. All right, so here we are. Just going to hand fight a little bit. Another one of those foot sweeps to the leg there. hand fighting. A little cartwheel pass. I mean, this is the cartwheel passes. I get so, I mean, they're fine. They work. Cartwheel passes can work. It's just that it's such a. I look at those type of things as like kind of Hail Marys. I know there's guys that are really good at it, and I'm old and I can't move like that. But these, I know it can be used, but I just don't see it as a very like, I don't know. It's not a very controlled movement. You're kind of just throwing it out there. I mean, I would say 90% of the time you don't pass. You may look kind of cool doing it. So yeah, that's my opinion on cartwheel passing. There's those hooks. Gordon's hooks stuck on the behind his feet there, behind Patrick's feet, and now Gordon has a grip on the legs and try to pull him in. Same position. So this is one of the reasons that IBJJF, so many rules and so many things that you're kind of limited to certain parameters. And I get it. There's it's great actually having different tournaments, different rule sets, and all these things. But there are some things that actually work that are more not just. I think there are better rule sets with the different venues and the different tournaments that are going on nowadays. The IBJJF rule set, it has quite a few limitations here, and this would have been a very different match, obviously, if there was more of the rules we see today. But again, this non-engagement can be very frustrating. But to Patrick's credit, he is using it is the rule set, so he can actually do that, and it makes sense to just not to go diving into somebody's guard all the time. It's smart to actually go and go into somebody's guard when you're on your time, not theirs. So he kind of just drives through like a battering ram to try to go into the guard, drive through. Again, disengagement, pulling the pants up. Got double grips here. Circle, going to pull away. Now we went on in his time. That was good. Patrick went in on when he wanted to go in. He was able to at least change the position here a little bit. Still doesn't really help him much because he's still got double butterfly. Gordon had an inside grip. It's going to get reset back to the same position. Gordon looking for an arm drag on that far arm, maybe an underhook. Elevation, trying to overcommit him. Got an underhook on the right side. Got an underhook on the leg here, trying to bring him forward. But this Patrick does a good frame here, framing on the head. We see this a lot now. This is used a lot more, even in not this highest level of competition, but you see it even in training now. You see guys framing on the neck and framing on the head to prevent the overcommitting, because the overcommitting of strategies. Turns around, walks away. So we get this like kind of half guard here. Gordon goes back up and look at these foot sweeps. Every time Patrick pulls back, he shoots his legs in here, and see that was a hook to get him to step back. He got his other hook here, and to just in case to also kick that foot out. But also if Patrick drives in, then he's going to end up in that honey hole setup again. Gordon pummels the top leg through. Now he's going inverted. And he has a hold of the leg. Now we're going into this type of double outside ashi position. So now we're successfully in double outside ashi. Patrick's trying to pull the leg out, counter for a toe hold, it appears. I guess you can do toe holds. So the toe hold, because there's no control on the knee, he can actually roll through and possibly get into a honey hole position here, which is actually pretty cool. The issue, the toe hold could just be used to get him out of that position, to get Gordon to move, and it certainly worked. It wouldn't be able to pull off a submission at this angle just because there's no control of Gordon's knee. So he can actually turn and spin out of that. It's great. That was good on both guys' parts. That was a good attack and counterattack. So we got about a minute left. Gordan again going for the underhook here, trying to get him overcommitted. And as soon as he feels Patrick is feeling these leg locks, he starts to his first response is to turn and run to a running man escape. And we're gonna watch this reap possibly. Nope. Gordan reach for that. He's pushing the head. Ooh, that was a good headbutt. Nice. So that was a little. I mean, they really pushing on the face now. Getting a little more aggressive. There's probably some frustration. Good. Gordan shot into a single. Coming up. Patrick's doing a good job framing on the head, framing his head down to the mat. So he wants to avoid Gordan's head getting attachment to getting connection to his upper body. Gordan switching to the body lock. Good. We got to the body lock here. Boom. And that was nice. Little sweep to the ground. Back attack. One hook. Got the half Nelson. Switching back to the seat belt. Going back to the back. So Patrick's going to turtle position. He's only got 5 seconds. He can probably survive 5 seconds. Gordan goes to double underhooks here to maintain control of the position. It's time. Well, I don't know why Patrick would think he won that. I mean, I understand. You should always do that when it's a tied match. You should always raise your hand. Clearly, this was Gordan won this. There was just a lot of disengagement in this match by Patrick, and I understand. There's a lot of the leg entanglements. The guard passing was there wasn't much. I suppose the passing was just kind of more of trying to look for explosive movement to try to pass. But guys that have a really good understanding of guard and positional and timing and all this, you can't just explode past their guards. It's just they have too many tools at their disposal. 2 legs, 2 arms, and you can go inverted. You can do all these things to reset the guard. And if you aren't controlling those things like controlling the top arm and the top leg, controlling the inversion, keeping heavy on the legs, turking the legs, and all these things that you can do, body lock passing and all this stuff. If you're just trying to explode past somebody's guard, it can work. It's not that it doesn't work. I would say it works. It's just that the more methodical, controlled method seems to be, especially as of now, as of 2023, this seems to be a better method of passing. And you can use both too. You can use both of those, and those are typically what you want to do anyways, is to use those methods of passing, but also use explosive movement when you need to. I just didn't see much control in the passing of when he was trying to pass of the position and of Gordan's guard. So Gordan had many leg entries and attacks. I don't know how IBJJF rules that, but I would say that if I was judging it, obviously I would say Gordan got that one, and especially near the end there, he got his back, wrestled him down to the ground from a body lock, swept from the back, got to the back attack, got a seat belt. So that was much more than what Patrick was playing mostly defense the entire time. Okay, so let's see who wins this. And I'm pretty sure Gordan should win this. Let's see. Yeah. So Gordan won that match. That was kind of a man. You know what? If both these guys have changed, obviously, I'm sure both have gotten better. They've gotten better over the years. So it'll be interesting to watch. If I was going to say, if I was a betting man and I had to put some money down, I would say Gordan should win this rematch in this rule setting without too much difficulty. I could be wrong, but just judging from what I see, if there's more of an ADCC rule where Patrick has to keep pressing forward, this could change things drastically. I'm sure Patrick's leg locks have gotten better. He's actually doing more leg locks possibly and understands them. And of course, his passing changed. Everything's changed in the past 5 years pretty dramatically. So I still am curious to see what happens. Yeah, this was a really good match to break down, and I'm really curious to see the rematch coming up. So yeah, I hope that was useful. Some of you guys out there. All right, that's it. Thanks.